Hi everyone and welcome. Today I am excited to unpack a topic that's often discussed but not always clearly understood: carbon credits in agriculture. In this video, we'll explore what carbon credits are, how they're generated on working lands, and why they matter for both producers and corporate partners aiming to meet their climate goals. Let's start with the basics. A carbon credit represents 1 metric ton of carbon dioxide equivalent that has been reduced, avoided, or removed from the atmosphere. In agriculture, that can happen in 2 main ways: reducing emissions, for example, by optimizing fertilizer use or improving manure management; removing carbon, such as through cover crops, reduced tillage, or other soil-building practices that sequester carbon in the soil. Each verified ton becomes a credit that can be sold or used by companies to offset or account for emissions in their supply chains. Many companies are setting Scope 3 targets. Those are emissions from their value chains, including farming and ranching. At the same time, producers are implementing practices that build soil health and store carbon, and these practices can reduce greenhouse gas emissions at the farm and ranch level. Carbon credits can connect these efforts, turning measurable environmental benefits into marketable outcomes. Let's take some time to understand where greenhouse gas emissions come from in agriculture and how to reduce them. Agriculture plays a unique role in the climate system. It's both a source of greenhouse gas emissions and a powerful solution for removing or reducing them. Globally, agriculture accounts for roughly 10 to 12% of total greenhouse gas emissions, and when you include land use change, that number rises significantly. But agricultural emissions are different from those in sectors like energy or transportation. They're mostly biological, tied to soil processes, plant growth, and livestock digestion. There are 3 main gases in agriculture: carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. Each has a different source, lifetime, and warming potential. Carbon dioxide in agriculture comes mainly from soil carbon loss and fossil fuel use. When we till soil or remove perennial cover, we expose organic matter to oxygen, releasing stored carbon back into the atmosphere as carbon dioxide. On the other hand, every ton of carbon stored in soil represents not just an emission avoided, but a potential carbon credit opportunity when verified. There are regenerative agriculture solutions to reduce carbon, which include reduced or no-till farming cover crops and perennials that build soil organic carbon, improved residue management, and energy efficiency on farms. Methane is about 28 times more potent than carbon dioxide over 100 years. In agriculture, the 2 main sources of methane are from enteric fermentation by microbial digestion in the stomachs of ruminants like cattle and from manure management, especially when stored in anaerobic, oxygen-free conditions. Solutions to reduce methane include improved feed quality and feed additives that reduce methane production, manure digesters that capture methane for renewable energy, and rotational grazing and herd management strategies. Some of these actions can generate verified methane reduction credits, depending on the methodology. Nitrous oxide is the most potent of the 3 major gases, about 265 times more powerful than carbon dioxide in trapping heat. It forms when soil microbes convert nitrogen from fertilizer into other forms under wet or compacted conditions. Key nitrous oxide reduction opportunities include precision nutrient management, right rate, source, timing, and placement, nitrification inhibitors that slow microbial conversion, improved drainage and soil structure, and use of cover crops to take up residual nitrogen's small changes in fertilizer efficiency can have a large climate impact. Now with some background on what creates agricultural greenhouse gas emissions and how to reduce them, let's return to the idea of carbon credits. Creating a carbon credit isn't simple, and that's a good thing. It ensures credibility and transparency. The process typically begins with creating a baseline assessment by measuring what emissions or carbon levels would be without the new practice. Next, farmers in an eco-harvest project would implement conservation practices that improve soil carbon or reduce emissions. After practice implementation, ESMC and our technical partners perform data collection and modeling by using scientific tools and models to estimate changes in greenhouse gases. Once the data is collected and modeled, ESMC sends it to independent third parties confirm that results are real, additional, and durable. This is considered the verification step. And finally, a credit is issued for a purchaser and the farmer is paid for their practices. Carbon credits are only valuable if they are credible and comparable. That's why verification bodies and standards play such a critical role. They ensure that the carbon gains are real and measurable. The practices go beyond business as usual and results are tracked and verified over time. At ESMC, our Eco-Harvest program works closely with partners to ensure credits meet science-based and recognized standards, giving both producers and buyers confidence in the results. The backbone of any credit or outcomes program is a monitoring, reporting, and verification (MRV) system that collects evidence of practices and outcomes and then compiles a transparent report for independent verification. Once verified, a registry issues serialized credits that can be transacted or retired. For producers and corporates alike, carbon credit programs can provide a wide range of benefits. For producers, carbon credit programs can provide financial incentives for conservation and regenerative practices, access to corporate partners investing in sustainable supply chains, and recognition for environmental leadership. For corporates, carbon credits, especially inset credits generated within their own supply chains, help achieve Scope 3 reductions and demonstrate measurable progress toward climate commitments. Let's walk through an example. A farmer enrolls in eco-harvest and plants cover crops and reduces tillage. Over time, soil carbon increases while nitrous oxide emissions decrease. ESMC quantifies the outcomes from these practices with our MRV system. This data is provided to a third-party verification group to convert the outcomes into carbon credits, which a company can purchase to meet part of its sustainability goals. That's the essence of how the carbon market translates on-farm change into measurable climate outcomes. Of course, there are challenges such as data consistency, market transparency, and ensuring equity for producers. But there are also big opportunities, which include improved modeling and measurement technologies collaboration among scientists, standards bodies, and market actors, and growing demand for verified agricultural outcomes. This is where partnerships, like those fostered through Eco-Harvest, are key to building a credible, scalable marketplace. ESMC's Eco-Harvest program can help your company develop and implement Scope 3 projects within your supply chain. Check out our website to learn more about Eco-Harvest program benefits or get in touch with us to talk about a project.